This is the word that God gave me and the vision that He gave me about the Japanese earthquake and tsunami that happened on March 11th, 2011. Around 1 a.m. on March 11th, I was at my computer writing. It's the time of day that I can finally get a chance to study and write what God tells me. All of a sudden, my phone next to me flashed breaking news. I keep it right there so that I can pray about things right away. There had been a major earthquake, something that I had been expecting given what God had been showing me in the series that I was writing. I started praying and checking Twitter. News organizations are much slower than Twitter. My prayer updates need to be in real time, so I always check Twitter first. It is on Twitter that I first learned that there was a tsunami along with an earthquake. They were mentioning TV footage, so I turned on the TV and that is where I saw it. Something that I had seen before played out right before my eyes, and now it was played out in real time, in real life. It is an absolutely devastating feeling to have seen it before and then watch it play out again in real time. Like I said before, I have been studying the earth. God has shown me a way to know generally when natural disasters are going to hit. I will share it in the coming installments of the Earth series. So I knew that there would be an earthquake soon. I just didn't know exactly when. And this is how it happened. Late at night on February 28th, it had to be very close to the time that the actual tsunami hit in Japan on March 11th, which was 11 days later. I woke up and had a vision. I wasn't told where this was, and I wasn't told when it would be. But I saw huge rolling waves, something that I had never seen before. They rolled up and down, and everything was in a sepia color. Amazingly high the waves were. They went above my line of sight, and there were houses on them, and boats and people, with just things and debris everywhere that I could look. The scope was incredibly large, and it was devastating. The looks on the people's faces were just devastating looks, things that I couldn't even describe to you, and just amazingly sad. I said, Lord, what does this mean? And He said, unsurvivable. Just one word, unsurvivable. And of course, that is true. That is what happened. However, this is what He wants all of us to know right now. Every day there is devastation. There is something new to deal with, and it is all frightening and heavy and burdensome. All throughout the world right now, things are happening that are terrible and frightening and almost too much for us to fathom or handle. Every time we turn on the TV, we not only see but hear of evil rising and devastation spreading. That is not surprising, since Jesus told us this. You will be hearing of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not frightened, for those things must take place. But that is not yet the end. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and in various places there will be famines and earthquakes. But all these things are merely the beginning of birth pangs, which is Matthew 24, 4-8. Since the tragedy in Japan, we have heard Matthew 24 quoted many, many times. Yet there is something that Jesus is telling us here that is very valuable for the end times. He gives believers the key to staying focused and firmly in His hands during these perilous times when danger is lurking everywhere. Jesus uses two words that are the keys to helping us to overcome what is going on around us. They are the words hear and see. Jesus said that we will be hearing about wars and rumors of wars. That is true. We will always hear about these things. Today we hear all kinds of things. Even most of it is true, and most of it is just devastating in its toll on human suffering and loss. He is not saying to plug up our ears and not listen to it. He says that we will hear it. What Jesus is telling us is the key to how we see. We are to make sure that we are not frightened. Fear is a spirit. We don't listen to it, and we certainly don't watch it either. The way to do that is to see ourselves victorious. And the way to do that is to see the spiritual things first and the natural things second. We are to rely on our spiritual senses to get us through. Just as if there had been a major power outage and we had been thrust into deep darkness, because that is exactly how it is spiritually. All around us there is deep spiritual darkness. That is how we live in the end times, and that is how we learn how to live in the end times. When one sense is diminished, the others are heightened and become stronger. That is what Jesus is asking us to do here in the final days. He is showing us how to overcome a darkness deficiency by letting our spiritual senses take over. Once we allow ourselves to be led completely by the Holy Spirit and focus our spiritual eyes first before our earthly eyes, we will be able to operate more easily and freely, for we are greatly needed in the last days. Imagine even greater earthquakes and devastation. They are coming once the tribulation comes. We will be gone by then, but how can mankind stand? Right now there are Christians here to help and to love, but once we are gone, there will be no support system at all. So at that time, not only will there be physical bodies swept away in devastation, but spiritual bodies as well. Now is the time to pray. Now is the time to see, to hear, and to listen to what he has to say, then move when he tells us to move. Brothers and sisters, never in the history of the world have Christians been so needed. It is like a hospital. We are in great need of life-giving aid. We have the solution. We have the way to give to them, and we need to be able to pour that into people's life and their bodies and able to lift them up and help them and to restore them to life, the life-giving things that they need. Continue to work, to pray, and to love. He is working. I know that you see it. God bless you. Each one of you is a blessing, and you are his delight. May his grace fall all over you today. Note the photo that is with this video is very, very close to what I saw in my vision, except it is an overhead shot. I enhanced it with a sepia color. What I saw was more of a straight-on shot, like I was in the water with the actual houses and boats and people. But this is a very, very close picture, and it looks very much like what I saw. God bless you today. May his favor, may his grace rest upon you. You will do great things for him today and always. God bless you.